Hey everyone, I'm Steve Saul. Welcome to this next installment of NIQ's Founder Series. This new video series dives into the many aspects of launching a CPG brand, from perfecting a formula to securing a meeting, to getting on a retailer shelf, to scaling the business. Each episode talks through the challenges and successes of startup CPG brands. Please welcome several-time CPG founder and friend, Craig Dubitsky. Craig is creator of brands you know and likely are in your household. Brands like Method, EOS, Hello Products, and others. Craig, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Psyched to be here. And yeah, my background is blurry, but hopefully my vision is clear. There you go. Excited to be here. So thank you.
Yeah, you got it, Craig. I think I heard you say, and I'll reinforce, 2 kids from New Jersey. Who knew? Here we are.
Woo!
So thank you again for joining. So let's just have fun, meant to be a conversation, and dive right in. So by way of introduction, Craig, tell us, how'd you get here? What's your background? And maybe we'll get into it, but origin of, you can pick one or a couple of your brand stories.
Sure. For the sake of time and for anyone who's watching or listening, I'll be brief. I'm a lifelong entrepreneur. People say, entrepreneurs are born and not made. I have no idea about any of that stuff. All I know is I was a little entrepreneur in New Jersey, a kid. Maybe I was 10, maybe a little less. And I had a lemonade stand, which is not uncommon, but at my lemonade stand, I also had a car wash, and I employed all these other kids in the neighborhood to work the car wash while I upsold and cross-sold, car washes and lemonade, and took the money in and paid the kids in the neighborhood. So I've just always sort of been like that. I see opportunity everywhere, and basically I'm an arbitrageur. I see discrepancies in everything. It could be cultures, commodities, car washes. It doesn't matter. I just sort of see opportunity all the time. It's kind of annoying, I think, at times, but at least I think my wife would say it's maybe annoying. I'm not sure, but yeah, I was a currency trader. I was commodities trader. I was an arbitrageur. I traded base metals and base metals derivatives. I hated that, with all due respect to all those fields of endeavor. I liked art and design, and I love people. And I think people write their narratives through their things, and certainly through experiences and other things that inform them. But I feel like most people are telling the story because everything communicates. And I don't mean telling a story in a bad way. Like sometimes that's an expression, like tell your story walking, or what's your story, or whatever. It's like, no, we're all communicating lots of different things. And as people, because I hate the word consumer, it's like I'm allergic to that word. We're people. We just happen to consume things. We want things that are better to find lots of different ways, more beautiful, more economical, more ecological, whatever it might be. And as entrepreneurs, I think we see opportunity everywhere, and it's our job, our mission, our purpose, our passion to create things that other people can fall in love with because maybe they solve for something. So I have been very fortunate to meet some other founders very early in their idea or company life stage, and one of those was Method. And I met the founders of Method, Adam and Eric, when they were literally 2 guys mixing product in their bathroom. And I didn't start Method. I never had the idea for Method. I was just lucky enough to meet them really early and understand that there's this big opportunity. And I'll never forget Eric Ryan telling me, I think cleaning products suck. And I was like, okay, like, why do you say such a thing? And he said, because the biggest thing you buy is your home, and not just because of the scale of it and the cost of it, but, emotionally and location, these are big decisions. It's a big deal when you buy a home. And the stuff we used to take care of it is so unattractive. This beautiful thing we bought to build our lives and house our stuff and have experiences and, home and hearth. The stuff we used to take care of it is horrible and so toxic. We have to lock it up. And I thought that was amazing. And I just kind of believed that there was a much bigger set of ideals behind Method, and that there had been this huge cultural shift And modern brands of the day, or current brands of the day, I should really say, weren't taking a modern sensibility or approach to match the cultural shift that had occurred around things that were more natural, more aesthetically pleasing, sort of this marriage of aesthetics and ethics. And the fact that women didn't sit around deep cleaning the house every day waiting for their husbands to come home, which is when a lot of those, older brands were created. And anyway, long story short, Method became Method, and I was very fortunate. So I had this history with Method. I was a original investor and founding board member in Method, and I'm going to speed it up. Then I started a company called EOS, co-founder there, but I was the creative lead. I was the guy who sat there with two sculptors at a conference room table with a sculptor and, made this EOS lip sphere and a bunch of other things. I wrote the copy. I had this idea that directions were too long and they could be succinct and still be, within the legal parameters of what copy on packaging needs to say, and bring a wink and a smile and a sense of, humanity to these things. Like a human wrote that, not the legal department. And after EOS, I started Hello. I skipped something, but yeah, I was involved with a snack food company called Popcorn Indiana. I was brought in to help with that. And I said, popcorn is an item and we're going to turn into a category. And that's kind of what we did. Then I started Hello because I thought oral care, the narrative, a word that gets used a lot these days, was very masculine and aggressive and scary. And everything was about killing and fighting and eliminating, destroying things in your mouth. And, it was all based on fear and shame. And I thought we could change that attitude and that positioning around oral care, that, if you didn't go to the dentist, you were going to, lose all your teeth, and the dentist was going to drill, fill, and bill you. And if your breath wasn't, smelling a certain way, you wouldn't get a job and you wouldn't get a kiss goodnight. And everything was just designed to scare the crap out of you. So I thought of the friendliest word I could, and it was hello. And Hello, became the fastest growing oral care brand and the #1 natural mouthwash and toothpaste in Walmart and Target, and #1 oral care product in Dollar General. And it just sort of kept going. And ultimately, we're very fortunate to be able to join the Colgate family. So that's a long answer, man, for a short question. I apologize.
That was perfect. You're making my job easy. But we first met 5 or 6 years ago when you were at Hello. Mm-hmm. And one of the questions I have is, you definitely have a knack, or you're an expert for either seeing trends extremely early or identifying or creating them. So I think back 5 or 6 years ago, maybe it's just me, but I probably never thought about, do I really want chemicals in my toothpaste and or my household spray? I don't think I really knew about things like activated charcoal. And most recently, I don't think I ever thought of the need for a guided app to teach me at my youthful age how to brush my teeth. And based on your recommendation, I'm a few months in, and something sounds simple, maybe silly because I never thought about it, it's a life changer. It's unbelievable. So how do you come up with these things? Are you solving problems? Are you using data? I know you're incredibly curious, but how do you come up with these ideas, and what percent do you actually follow through on?
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm always seeing things. And so I think as a prescient person who loves people, and I try to be hyper observant, I'm always seeing stuff that kind of, this is going to sound bad, but I don't mean it to sound bad, that kind of annoys me. Like it kind of just niggles away and eats away at me and gnaws away. And I'm like, why is it like that? Why? I'm just always asking why. I don't know why things are the way they are. And I think there's a better way to do almost anything and everything. And I'm a little obsessive about that stuff. So it's not that I said, oral care, that's the category I'm going after today. Like that feels ripe for, messing with. It came very naturally, to use a word, organically. I was in a store and I walked by a set and I saw a set, meaning, a big retail display with a brand new product, actually. So I went by the oral care set and there was a display of this brand new product, and it caught my eye, which was clearly the intention, right? Catch the eye of someone walking through a crowded retail environment, probably looking for something else. So it did its job. But in my case, it did its job for the wrong reasons. I stopped because I saw a hologram of an extracted tooth. And I was like, you can't recycle that box. It's mixed materials, it's foil and it's paper. And why is there an extracted tooth? Like, I thought the whole point of oral care was so that the teeth stay in my mouth. Like, this was an adult product. It wasn't like, oh, it's for kids and the tooth fairy is going to come. You know, this was an adult sort of clinically positioned product. And then I looked around, I saw all the other extracted teeth on all the other products. And I went, this is really weird. Like, I thought this category is supposed to be about good health. And instead they're showing me shiny, like dead bodies. Like, they're showing me these teeth with their roots dangling down. So it just kind of hit me in the moment. And I think my lesson there, if I could share anything, is like, just keep your eyes open. There's opportunity everywhere, like everywhere. And I know it's going to sound trite the 10,000th time I say it, but it's really true. Like, everything kind of stinks. And when you realize how low the bar is, you realize how much opportunity, you know, there really is. I mean, you know, like, this is a button. Like, we still have buttons. We live in a world of Wi-Fi. We have wireless headphones, you and I. Like, we have buttons. Like, that's insane to me. Like, someone had to sew this little round thing, you know, onto a piece of fabric, or a machine did it, but then another thing had to cut a hole in an opposing bit of fabric and make sure it matched up. And, oh, better sew around the hole so it doesn't get frayed every time you stick your fingers onto this thing and put it through. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, this is how low the bar is. Like, everything kind of sucks. So once you realize that, there's opportunity everywhere. So just one other thing I'll add is that people say, well, no one cares about dish soap. No one cares about toothpaste. People don't care about lip balm or shaving cream or toilet paper. Like, they don't really care. And maybe that's why big brands have to advertise so much, to keep telling you like why you should care. People care about everything. Everything. There's not a single thing, in my view, that's considered a boring category. Nothing. There's just boring executions, because people are certainly not boring. So yeah, like, opportunity abounds.
I think it's funny, individually, it may feel like small improvements, or to your point on dish soap, is that really important? But it seems like it's a great idea, is literally improving people's lives or making it more convenient, and maybe in ways that they haven't thought about before. So this might be a legend, maybe I made it up, but I'm pretty sure in one of our conversations, correct me if it's egregiously wrong, but one of the original ideas for EOS lip balm in the beautiful original egg shape was that either your personal experience or people were complaining, you just can't find your lip balm in a bag. So
that was a big part of
it without looking for it. So
that's right. You have 2 of these and 10 of these. And at the time, when I'd started up EOS, every woman I knew, for some reason, had the same purse. They had this big black cavernous purse. It was a Longchamp purse, if that means anything to anybody. And the iPhone was brand new at the time. And I think back in the day, back in the day, you had to hack your phone to get the flash on the camera to become a flashlight. You had to download a separate app. So this is like the first generation iPhone. Now it's a normal feature. And I used to joke, and I said, that became a thing so that women could point their camera at their Longchamp purse to find anything in it, because it was this ridiculously big black hole and you just couldn't find anything in there. So yeah, it's like little, I'm going to use the word insights. I don't know if it's an insight or just an aha moment, call it whatever you want, but there's usually something that triggers for me where I go like, why is it like that? Or why didn't someone do this to it? Like, the bar is, again, incredibly low. So I think that's been like a really, really important aspect for me when looking at opportunities. It's just knowing that sometimes a little incremental change can have a huge impact.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to, so incredibly inspirational. I love every one of your stories. I'm going to get into a little bit of the how and ask you to reminisce a little bit if things come up. I just want to make sure we have practical advice for the audience as they have their own emerging brands that are growing and selling into retail. So when you think about you have this idea and a design and prototype. What about the sell-in to retailers? How did you convince? It can be back in the day.
Yeah.
How do you go about and how do you think about and how do you prepare convincing retailers to carry your items?
Sure. There's a whole bunch of things I've done depending on the brand or where I was in the development or even in my a word I don't think I've ever used ever. Career. I never think of like having a career or what I've done as a career. So it's literally I'm saying it over and over now because I'm convincing myself that I have a career or had a career. Anyway, what I like to do is visualize things for people, because if I sat there and I told you I have this really good idea, I'm going to make a natural toothpaste, and you'd be like, well, there's Tom's of Maine, that's a natural toothpaste. Like, what are you going to do? You have to visualize things for people. And retailers are merchants. Like, their stage, their platform is their store, is the shelf. They are looking at, the metrics of selling on a per inch basis, and, throughput and, like, do you touch it? Do you look at it? Did you pick it up? Was it attractive? Did it elevate the whole category because it made the merchandising, look better? For the environment, there are a lot of factors. So I try to visualize everything so that when I meet a retailer, I show them kind of a before and after. Like, here's what your set looks like now. Here's what it could look like with our beautiful, shiny new object, whatever it might be. And usually the before and after is pretty dramatic. So it's kind of visceral. It's like, which one do you want? Do you want that thing or do you want this thing? And if your thing, whatever it is, doesn't sing, because all these other brands are trying to scream all the time. Brands use these tactics like a violator on the product. They'll say new. Like, if your thing is new, you don't have to say it's new. If it's really new, someone sees it and goes, whoa, what's that? That's really cool. I haven't seen that before. That's new. And new is magic for a retailer. Like, that's special because now you're coming to that store as a shopper and you're like, whoa, they have really cool stuff. I haven't seen that before. So how do you make your thing look amazing and make your thing look amazing in their environment and bring that to life visually? Now there are tools with which you could do all that. And whenever you can, demonstrate, just demonstrate. If you can't very quickly show somebody or tell somebody really quickly why your thing is better, like EOS in the lip balm, I would say the average woman eats 5 pounds of petrochemicals from her lip balm. People be like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's stuff you shouldn't be eating. Like, ours is, vegan. And I'd go down the list, right? And I'd say it's 100% natural. It's and oh yeah, and look at it. It looks beautiful. Boom. Like, mic drop. Or with Hello, all I had to do, there were a couple of things I used to say about Hello. I would say, I've seen my grandparents' teeth. And my grandparents' teeth are in a jar by the side of the bed. Like, why would I use the same toothpaste my parents or grandparents used? Like, I don't think it worked out so well for them. And then I'd really demonstrate, and I would take a tube of fluoride-free only toothpaste, and I would eat it. I'd literally just like down it. And I'd be like, if you do that with anything else, I'm calling 911 like right away. Like, you can't do that. You will die. And then I'd back it up with data saying, this is what people are looking for. This is what we've done research in the lab, and I can tell you that our product is incredibly efficacious and whitens better than this product, and as a fraction as abrasive as this product. Like, the thing you're creating has to be good. Like, it really has to work, and it has to work across a couple different sort of planes of motion, getting people excited, getting people comfortable, like, so that they know it's effective and safe. You have to do the work. And when you can get data to help you back up everything you're saying, then you're golden. Because then how is a retailer going to say no? It looks beautiful. It works better. It gets me emotionally charged and excited. Even if they don't buy that, they'll buy something in my category because they came to see it and went, holy crap. That's amazing. So that's like your job as the entrepreneur, is to get someone really excited and to get them to a place where they go, I didn't know it could be like that. Or like, what took so long? Why didn't no one else make this that way?
Craig, I'm curious thoughts on, I've seen you in action and the storytelling is extremely visual, passionate from the heart, less words. You do mention data a couple of times. So as you're showing or demonstrating the product and telling your story, like if you only had a couple of aspects of data, like where and when would you bring that in? Is it, if you're pitching a retailer, is it, I can improve store traffic, I can increase sales, or it's not cannibalistic, or like,
I
how do
think
you
it's
think
like
about it?
more because if you're early in your life cycle as a company, there's only so much data you're going to have, right? So try to get what you can, even if you're starting small and you get a small retailer to believe and take it. And small, I mean, it could be 3 doors. It doesn't matter. Like when Method first started, they were in a 3-door chain. Their first store was called Molly Stone's in San Francisco, and it obviously went on to do some very, very, very big things. Method. So it doesn't matter how many doors you're in at first. So you start building your story. People love stories, and data validates the story, right? So you open up however many doors you can. You try to accumulate whatever data you can, whether it's, we're outselling brand X, Y, and Z by Y percentage. Like, imagine what would happen if we were in more doors. And then as you grow, like I remember at one point we were talking to a very large mass market retailer, and we did some research work with maybe this company called Nielsen, I think. And we had this research, and we got to go back to this large retailer and say, do you know what? People that bought our product in your store, we were already in that store, but we weren't all doors the way we wanted to be. It was still like somewhat early days. And we got to say, that people that buy our product in your store, their shopping cart, the size of their shop is, I don't remember what the exact number was, but, it was like significantly larger than if they hadn't bought Hello toothpaste. And the people, so the people that were buying Hello were buying a lot more in the store. Their frequency of visit to the store was much greater. And we had this other great data point, which was if you had bought Hello, you hadn't bought a single toothpaste in that particular retailer in 18 months prior. So we were bringing in a better shopper, quote unquote, someone with greater frequency, higher, purchase volume, and they were just spending more across the store. So it was a bigger basket in terms of the diversity of what was in it, and bigger basket in terms of absolute dollars. And if you're a merchant, a retailer, it's like, wait, they came to the store more often. They bought more stuff. They bought more stuff all over the store because, they don't make the same margin on every product, right? So the idea that you're going around the store and buying more things and spending more money, that's good if you're a retailer. That's fantastic. So being able to share data like that and storytell with it and be like, this is why you need our product. Like we represent the thing that a quote unquote important shopper for you is looking for. And you hadn't provided it for them in the prior 18 months. Like they weren't even walking that aisle before in your store. So the data really helped to substantiate. You don't need to substantiate passion, right? We had the passion, but it took the story of why we were so passionate, and it kind of it just really solidified it in a way that the retail partner couldn't deny and say, well, I'm going to think about it, or let's do a test. From then it was like, holy crap, like how do I not have this? Like I need this all over the place. So when you're storytelling, again, because you're building something, it's not that you're storytelling per se, you're building something. So, you have to get your narrative right. You have to get the characters right. You have to get the setting right. You have to get, the players right. And, it's like you're staging a show, and you have to get the right writer, director, producer, and script. And in a lot of ways, part of the script is not just what you say, but how you say it. And I think that's a combination of like data and design. And when you play that left brain, right brain game, and you have one brain and you have a really good story and a great product, you're off to the races. Like no one's going to say no.
That's perfect. In the data geek world, you need a great bulletproof story that's backed with perhaps data or shopping basket analysis or whatever it is. We can help do the interpretation on that. So Thank you. I want to leave the audience wanting for more a little bit. We could go on a whole lot. I just have one or two other questions, then we'll close out and open it up to you if you have anything you want to add. But I'm curious, Craig, an optional question, but what's anything
bonus round?
Bonus round. Anything you want to plug on your end? What are there ideas you're thinking about, or what's next for Craig?
Oh, of course there are things. All I can say is I'm very happy, and I'm working on some stuff that I hope is going to make a lot of other people really happy too. Because my whole thing is I want to make beautiful things people can fall in love with, and go into everyday categories and just elevate them, really. So all I can say is watch this space. There's a lot more to come. It's a lot of fun to be creative and not creative, creating. Sorry. I mean, sure, to be creative. I think that's great. I've read about that. It's supposed to be really good. But to be creating is awesome. So yeah, watch the space. More stuff to come.
Can't wait. Thank you, Craig. Awesome storyteller as always. We'll riff on off camera or another time. I'm sure our audience can and has learned a lot from your success, your experiences, and I know personally I'll be watching this space. I can't wait to see what you do and anything I can do personally and we can do at Nielsen IQ to support your success. So, Craig, any closing comments before I close it out?
Sure. Don't forget to floss, and don't ever give up. Like, all this stuff is hard when you're starting something. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. We've all heard that before. So just know there are great people out there that want to help you. And a lot of people have been incredibly helpful to me. I mean, I can't even tell you how many. And Steve, you're one of them. So I thank you. And I always tell people, like, I try to avail myself. So if I can ever be helpful, I think people are magical and special. And generally, I try to be respectful, and people are generally really lovely and respectful right back. So if I can ever be helpful, hit me up, find me on LinkedIn. I tell people you can call me or text me, but 917-392-1000 is my cell phone. It really is my cell phone. People are like, you gave out your cell phone? I'm like, yeah, people are awesome. And so many people are helpful to me. And if I can be helpful back, like realistically and respectfully, because I know everybody's busy and stuff. Yeah, like, why wouldn't I? It's great. So we're lucky to be here, and we're lucky to be in the most awesome industry. And I'm just grateful. So thank you. Call if I can help. And stay positive.
Amazing. You're amazing, Craig. Thank you. This has been another episode of NIQ's Founder Series, where we dive deep with some of the most innovative brands and founders to learn how brands launch and grow in our CPG space. This video is brought to you by NIQ, where we're revolutionizing the CPG industry and democratizing data and analytics for emerging and growth brands. To learn more, check out niq.com/Pfizer, or please reach out. Thank you.